I'm sitting here at my Nana's house, and I kind of just want to talk about my Uncle Lawrence. I've been wanting to make a video about it for a while now. For those who know me personally, know that I take a lot of pride and have very strong positive feelings about my career in the place that I work. Um, I was hired at Kroger in 2017, and my three times great uncle Lawrence was hired in 1917. And I just feel like that's too coincidental, and it's something that kind of inspires me. And um, people a lot of times are confused and find humor in the passion that I have for what I do for a living. They think, oh, it's just a store that you work at. Everybody that knows me personally knows that I have strong feelings and a lot of pride and a lot of passion in what I do for a living. Um, and a lot of times they don't understand why. And I think a big part of it is I grew up in the business, and I grew up. I started at 16. I'm going to be 25 later this week, and I've really grown up working in that business. But just knowing that I had a great uncle, three times great uncle, that worked for the same company and made a career out of the same company, um, it kind of mirrors. He um, worked 50 to 60 hours a week. He I don't want to say hoarded, but he built wealth out of his career, and he really had a successful career. And I just feel like our lives mirror too much, and it's so ironic because it's a man that I don't even know. I've never met this guy. He died in the 80s. He was born in 1887, and I think he died in 1984. I will actually put it in this video so we know the exact date. But our lives mirror each other. His wife died many years before he did. So he was a man that lived alone after his wife had passed, worked 50 to 60 hours a week, and saved his wealth from his labor. And when you put that on paper, that's who I am. So I just feel that it's too coincidental and too symbolic that he and I have so much in common. And it's so funny that I feel a connection to a relative, an ancestor that I never even met. I think he met my mother when she was a baby. But I never met the guy, and our paths are just so parallel. And it's cool because my grandmother, my Nana, showed me a few months ago this tool that he used in his career. This is a tool that he used, and the industry has changed so much that in 1917, when he was hired and when he worked for the company, product came in crates. They came in wooden crates. So he would use a tool like this, and these are just notes that my Nana has written, just the history of the tool. But it's cool. It's really cool, and you compare it to today. I brought with me the tool I use every day. Just a box cutter. This is on my hip every day that I go to work. A standard box cutter. You see this in any retail, any warehouse, any factory. And it's just so cool comparing the two. How different the industry changed. How different, and he was a grocery store manager. I'm a grocery store manager. How different the industry has changed. I have a lot of passion. I have a lot of love for what I do. And knowing that I had an ancestor, a relative, that we mirror each other, He was hired in 1917, and a three times great nephew that he never would have known existed 100 years later was hired exactly 100 years apart. I just feel a connection to the guy. So I just wanted to share that. I mean, there was other things I wanted to say, and I didn't write a script for this or anything. I usually don't. I usually just hit record and start talking, but it's just weird. And, it's weird comparing the two tools, sitting here looking at what would have been used every day by him, and it just goes to show how different the industry is. In his time, it came in wooden crates, probably bulk products in wooden crates, whereas today I open boxes from this big to, it just shows how the industry's changed, and especially with technology advancing as it is now, I'm very curious to see where the industry's headed. It's just fascinating to me that I have so many similarities with a relative that I've never met, with a member of my bloodline that I never met. 100 years apart, we were hired by the same company, and we've made a career out of the same company. And we have, from what my grandmother has told me about him, we have the same ambitions and the same goals and the same passion for what we do. And, I always say that's Uncle Lawrence. He's my phone wallpaper, the uncle that I never met, but I have so much in common with. So I do hope, I would like to think that he's looking down on me right now, and maybe I'll see him one day and we can talk about all the shelves we stocked, all the groceries we bagged. Be pretty cool. This one's to my 3 times great Uncle Lawrence. And I was told tonight by my Nana that this would be in my inheritance, which is one of the few things that I really want to inherit one day, just because it's a symbol of my career, it's a symbol of his career, and how the two are connected. That's really all I got to say.